right, the next thing on the agenda is the Dane County Velodrome. So we have Michael Gustafson.
Yeah, and actually what we're going to do is we're going to switch, this worked prior, we're going to switch actually laptop so he can run his presentation. And I do have the PDF form of the presentation on the computer, but certainly this was a presentation that you made to the CETA group. When was that, Mike? Was that?
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago.
Yeah. This is my brother Mark.
Hey, Mark.
He's been working on the project with me.
Thanks for stopping in again. And actually, CETA thought that this would be a good presentation to the Park Commission. And actually, it may even roll into our next conversation that we have with the Park Plan Update, the 5-year plan update. So I think with that, I'll just let Michael roll through this, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So thanks for letting us speak to you today. We're really excited about this. We've been, our personal motivation is that we're a family that's grown up cycling, and we have literally our whole family is getting together all the time to this day, and riding. It's become a really strong part of our life, a really strong, healthy part of our life, and we started out in a velodrome, and it was basically because we had a velodrome in the town that we grew up in is the only reason that we got into cycling at all. And so we'd really like to be able to bring that opportunity to Dane County as well. And Fitchburg seems to be probably the best place to put something like this. It's a way of creating a sort of center for cycling, whereas now in almost every place the only center for cycling is maybe a bike shop or something like this, and so there really is no center. So with a velodrome, you start to be able to build a community. You start to be able to people know where they can go if they want to get into cycling, and the quality of people's abilities when they learn how to ride increases dramatically by having such a really tight-knit group and place to go and learn. So anyways, we've been thinking about this for quite a while, and we've got a lot of support. We've got this is David Chauner. He's helping support us a lot. He was a professional racer, Olympian. He wrote to me the other day, Madison is probably one of the most ideal communities in the U.S. for a proper indoor velodrome, and we believe that planned right, it would be very successful. And then this is a local professional racer, Robbie Ventura. He's also very behind. I used to race with him when I was a little kid, and he's also very much behind this. He was on a committee to try and organize the Olympic racing in the Madison area if the Olympics was in the Chicago area. So he's ready and able and willing to help us out as much as we need as well. So a lot of you probably aren't familiar with what a velodrome is. So I've got a little video here that kind of shows what we're shooting for eventually, and it just kind of gives a good introduction to what the potential is for having an indoor velodrome in the area. So
its roots go back to the beginning of professional sports.
It should pop up.
And a century-old tradition of testing the limits of speed and endurance. Today, bike racing rides the wave of cycling enthusiasts. A billion-plus audience with a passion for two wheels. Weekend warriors in popular fun rides. Fans of epic stage races. Popular downtown criteria. And the high-energy excitement of track racing on steeply banked velodromes in a packed stadium. And now, for the first time, a true cycling
Okay, so that's basically that's kind of like the high end. What we're talking about, we've got a whole spectrum of people that can use something like this, from professional racers and big media, internet connected cameras on bicycles and stuff like that. And then the other end of the spectrum is kids on their dirt bikes, and bringing people into the sport of cycling. So the one nice thing about the high-end stuff like this is that it can be part of bringing in money, and those types of events will be able to bring in money. They'll be able to bring heads and beds into the hotels in the area and things like that. Currently, in Carson City, California, is the only place that has an indoor velodrome in the United States, in the whole United States. These things are all over the world, but in the United States there's only one, which is a pretty huge opportunity, so we'd like to take advantage of that opportunity. This is the velodrome that's in Carson City right now, and you can see that it's used for multiple sports and multiple events. It can be used for concerts. It can be used for any type of indoor sport. You can hang nets from the ceiling and do whatever you need to do. It's basically just a gymnasium for public use, but it's got a track going around the outside of it. And so there's here's an example, another video showing what it's like actually in this facility on a day-to-day basis, not with all the flair and the racing and everything like this. The size of this track is one that can be used for competitions. It's 250 meters, which is large enough for Olympic training and any other type of events that would be licensed around the whole world. And the fact that we are, there's another, in Colorado Springs, they're putting up like a temporary dome over a track. It's not really in the same realm, so it's not a place to have events and stuff like that. It's really just a training facility for the Olympics since it's at altitude. So you can see, basically, in Dane County, we've got the entire United States as our oyster if we decide to do it right. Now that's for indoor velodromes. Outdoor velodromes are more common, and outdoor velodromes are what have really built the sport throughout the United States. This is in Kenosha. Kenosha's got the oldest velodrome in working velodrome in the United States. It was 1927 it was started. One of the reasons this velodrome works so well is that it's built right into a neighborhood, and so every Thursday, Friday night when they have the races, everyone in the neighborhood just kind of goes down there and watches it's just a really great summer event to just go watch and have a picnic and experience this unusual sort of sport. There's also an outdoor velodrome in Northbrook. This is where I started racing and my brother started racing when we were kids. Literally, we were sitting around the kitchen table, my dad and I'd gotten my first new dirt bike, and he said, he was reading the paper and he put it down, he said, "How'd you like to ride your new bike in a velodrome?" And I said, "Well, what's a velodrome?" and he said, "Well, it's a track you can bring you can race around like a running track." And so I said, okay, and that was sort of the beginning of it for my brother, my sister, my father, and even my mother eventually. There's one in Chicago right now. It's a new one. In Blue River Park, Michigan. They're all made out of different types of materials, some more affordable than others. This is Blaine, Minnesota. This one's currently out of order, but they're trying to figure out a way to save it. So I'm in the construction world. I'm an architect and a cyclist, so I kind of feel like this is something that I got to step up and do because I just sort of have my foot in both worlds here. This is a typical diagram that we use in construction projects. Every project ends up somewhere in this triangle here. Cost or affordability in one end, time or speed of the project in another, and then the quality of the project in another. Every project ends up in here somewhere. So let's say if we were to just try to get this project done quick and cheap, what we would do is just build like an outdoor temporary track in an existing parking lot somewhere. If we were to try to make the, not worry about cost and just go for, a quick, really high-quality project. We could hire the World Cycling League as a consultant. We could get some corporate sponsors and, sacrifice control over the project a little bit, but we could get it done really, really quickly by that method. If we were to go this other route where we kind of take our time and, we could possibly get something that was more affordable and high quality, it would probably take a really long time to set it up. Finding the perfect site, finding, getting slow funding from a lot of different sources and that sort of thing. And we'd be able to maintain control over the whole thing. The speed of which something like this would happen is a little bit unattractive to me, because we really want this to happen as quickly as possible. And we know that sometimes projects like this can drag on and on. So ideally, I think what we've decided would probably be the best thing to do is to shoot for the middle here. And what that would mean is that we would start out with an outdoor temporary track in an existing parking lot or in an existing park or something like that. And once that has been created, then the community can come together. The programs that we want to develop can start to come together, bringing people into cycling, kids after school, programs, summer training programs, corporate team building programs and stuff like that in the mornings. And then while that's being developed, then we can focus on the major goal, which is to try and build something indoors that really could be a hub for cycling in the whole central part of the United States. So if you look at the numbers, this is another reason why we think that would be a great route, is that if we're shooting for, like a world-class, velodrome, we're talking around probably $19 million. And you can make it a little more affordable in some ways by using a bubble or a more, rectangular type of a building. But it seems like this is probably what we would really want to do if we're going to do it, just do it right. And compare that to about $400,000 to build a quick, cheap outdoor one. It just seems like it's kind of a no-brainer, because you have, such as if you're going to spend this much, you might as well do sort of like a rough draft for $400,000 and build a community and get the help of the community and build the programs and stuff like that.
And I think, I'll interject a little bit too, with he puts that number up there of $400,000, and he calls it temporary. We call it temporary because we have this vision, this goal to do something bigger and better. But, the Blaine outdoor track, it's a beautiful wooden track, worked for 25 years. So, temporary it's more of it's just because we want that as the stepping stone.
Right.
It can be something that can be like a jewel for the city and a jewel for a park system to have something like this that will be around for quite some time.
Yeah. So I just wanted to be able to also show people how the approximate size of it. I'm not suggesting we put it in Camp Randall or anything, but this is the approximate size if you guys have been in Camp Randall. Actually, maybe I should pull up here. Let's see here. No, I'll just continue with that. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different places that we could put it. The important thing being that I think the important thing is that we place it in a really, we follow a lot of really quality principles as far as where we do place it. The important principles would be placing it in a neighborhood like Kenosha has done, where people can walk to the velodrome. And another one is to place it in some place, ideally place it somewhere where people are going to see it. So something like this will be, it'll be, if people can see it, they'll really be excited. They'll be excited about it and attracted to it, and it'll really bring a lot of people into the sport and make the place more usable. We can include it in other developments. This is just an example of, it could have been part of the Garver Feed Mill project if we'd gotten there in time. You could put it across the street, across the bike path from the Garver Feed Mill. There's an ice rink. You could put it around the ice rink. You could put it inside of this is the West Town Mall. You could put it inside JCPenney's. So there's a lot of different options of where you can fit these into the city. This is possibly familiar to some of you. This is a Sub-Zero building, just to show kind of the scale that it can fit in something like that. Here's the parking lot right next to the movie theater. I'm off of PD here. Here's the that track that you were talking about earlier with the mountain biking track down by the quarry is right around here, and there's a parking lot there. It could possibly be put someplace like that. Up here by Allied Drive neighborhood is a really attractive area because there's so many bike paths going through there, and the Allied Drive neighborhood could easily walk there. So that's some. And then here's another. I don't have a model in there right now, but this area is actually really attractive. We rode by there the other day, and the nice thing about this is that it's lower than the bike path, so you would actually look down into the velodrome, and that becomes really people know what it is then because they're looking into it and they see people riding around.
And actually, the Dolly Bike Hub is just to the right of it.
Right down through here?
Yep, it's right up. It's right. Yeah, it's just,
Isn't that what the new building's called up there? Right on? Okay.
Yep, it's actually right up in that area.
Okay, yep. So there's bike path there's one going up there, there's one going down here, and right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Cirrus, I believe, is right around here. They've got a mountain bike path, I think, that they're creating in there. So it's a very visible place, and it's got some potential for parking and stuff like that. So these are just sort of concepts that when we're choosing a place to put this. So what we believe, just to review, are like our roadmap to success is that we begin with a temporary track, and it's sort of like a risk-free test track. From there, we can learn and plan and design and improve until we complete the major project, which is the indoor track, sort of a hearth in the United States, in Fitchburg. So we start simple, invite everyone over, and with all the people to help and all the experience we gain, we can design and build something more amazing, more profitable. And in the end, we have the best of both worlds. This is kind of what Mark was saying, is that we could have a quality outdoor and an indoor track and really enjoy beautiful summer nights out at the races. And then in the wintertime, the best indoor track east of California, and year-round racing, no rainouts. If we were racing outside and there was rain, we wouldn't get rained out like every other track in the country. And we could ride all winter long. Again, the track has a sort of a center for racing, or center for cycling, and cycling education, camaraderie, friendship, and coaching that comes along with that is huge. We've already developed a 55-page business plan about this, trying to figure out how to get money to come in, and so that this thing pays for itself as much as possible. We've already developed some schematic schedules that show all the different types of programs that can be involved. So here's some of the programs, just a summary of some of the programs we could have to give you an idea. This is probably my favorite program, Early Bird Corporate Team Building. So corporations, and this has been successful in other velodromes, corporations pay the velodrome to have their people come in for team building, and the race that they have with themselves is to try to do as many laps as they can in 40 minutes. And so they learn how to draft, they learn how to work as a team. The strongest riders sit out front, and the weaker riders sit out back. The really weak riders kind of can pull off and get lapped, and you learn to work as a team. And at the same time, everyone's obviously getting exercise. Early Bird Adult Coaching and Training. This is all based on a membership, so you've got a constant flow of membership money coming in. And again, our mission basically is to bring everyone into cycling, so people aren't excluded. So even though it's a membership, we think that scholarships should be really easy to get for just about anybody that needs it. So during the middle of the day, adults, beginners, professionals, college students, midday training and coaching, after school and summer track racing camp for the youth, after school and summer team practice for high school students, and after work members, adult training. Because so when the kids go home, that's when the adults get done with work, and so they come out and they have their member training, riding, coaching, free riding, and stuff like that. And then, so that's kind of like the membership stuff, but we also have races on the weekends that bring in income. We have the spectators and the racers have fees. There's concessions for that as well. And then on top of that, we have rental income. So The bicycle rentals and repair service would be they're our tenant. So maybe Dream Bikes ends up being the people, I don't know if many of you know Dream Bikes, but they make a lot of bicycles, and they help train people how to fix bikes and stuff like that. And so a company like that could come in and they could build the fleet of bikes that get used and get rented out in the facility, and they could pay us rent in order to do that, and that would be regular income as well. And then bar, cafe, restaurant type tenants could also be there. That way they're paying us rent. We don't have to run a restaurant. We don't have to run a bike shop. You could also have multimedia tenants, so the people that are in charge of lighting and video and the sound systems for like large events, conferences and stuff like that, concerts, they could pay us rent as well, just to be in charge of that part of the facility. The World Cycling League, that was sort of their advertisement was shown at the beginning of this. They would pay us rent, so they would be sort of a tenant. Each of their events, they plan on having 12 a year. And they would pay us, a pretty good sum of money for that. And then there's also other leagues that would pay us as well. A lot of people would be really interested in using this facility. So the potential for income is, I think, really big. There's just so many uses that could help keep the whole thing floating. And then, there's non-cycling events, expos, conventions, concerts, tournaments, bike party events. You could throw benefit concerts and, make $75,000, in ticket sales possibly. So, and then, like coaching clinics and stuff like that would also help bring in money. So, so again, we have the what and the how, and again with the why here.
If you give a kid a bicycle, she'll want to learn how to ride it.
So you have to teach him how.
So, he'll probably fall, and she's gonna need, so she'll need you to give her a hug. She'll ask you to help her up again, and again. If you help him up enough, he'll probably get the hang of it.
When he gets a hang of it, he'll be really happy.
And chances are, she'll fall in love with it.
You'll have to find him some friends to ride with.
When she finds friends to ride with, she'll want to get faster.
Faster.
If he gets really good, she's gonna want to get better.
And you're probably going to need to get him some help. With some help, he'll get more confident.
When she gets more confident, he'll probably do better in school and in life. And if she does better in life, she'll probably grow up to be a happier person. And being happy will remind her of riding her bicycle. And chances are, he'll want to keep riding it forever.
So there's, organizations out there like this organization that would also be excited about being involved. And really, what we're driving for, what's in our critical path, is finding a piece of land. We'd love to do some sort of a public-private partnership with Fitchburg if we could. And it seems like both Fitchburg and this idea of a track would really help. They'd help each other out by being able to bring in money to help support it, and the public side being able to possibly provide land in order to put the track on and integrate it with the other needs that Fitchburg has and the desire to be a cycling community and help out with people's with quality exercise community events and stuff like that. So. Land. We're going to find a piece of land. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. So,
Let me get this straight. You're looking for a piece of land for both, 2 pieces of land, for outdoor and indoor.
ideally, that'd be great. Yeah.
Do you have any?
Personally.
No, but I mean, it's, I think that, like for us, I mean, we have the selfish reason that we just want this because we think it's really cool, and I want my kids to. I mean, the reason this came about is because of the story that my brother, told, and the fact that I want to put my kids on a velodrome. And I've got a 5, 7, and 9-year-old, and I don't want it to take 10 years. I want to find a way to do it so we can do something cool. And I mean, that's the selfish reason. My wife and I have, when we when he talked about the after-school programs and things like that, that's where my wife comes in, and that's where she's really motivated because she wants to find a way to fill a need there. So finding a way to bring in the community like that, that's really her passion.
And some of her friends.
And she's got friends who are teachers and all that kind of stuff. And so, for selfish reasons, we want to just do it because we want to be able to use it too. But at the same time, we just think it would be a very cool, unique thing to have in the community, and something that I think the parks program is suited for. Where it's like like if there's a piece of land that's in a neighborhood that could use something different and unique, then great. And I mean, I really truly believe that if the park people had land, like if you could say this is the perfect spot for it, we could find people, and my wife and I are ready to commit a significant amount of funds to build the track. And I think we could build, we could pay for the track. Like we can get that. We'll get that money. If we can tell people, Fishburg's on board, here's the piece of land that we can build on. If we can raise the money to build the track, let's do it.
There's been a lot of support, so. And if we did start out with a temporary track right away, that would be I think very easy to raise the money for that. There'd be so many people that would be interested.
I mean, if the indoor thing never happens, we still have a outdoor track that people are going to use for years.
Yeah. But the indoor thing should happen. So yeah, I mean, one or two pieces of land would be great. and we have no need for we're not interested in ownership or profit making or anything like that. We're just interested in getting a track built. So as far as I mean, it'd be just fine if this became a publicly owned facility on public land. We just would like to help make that happen in any way that we can, and I could put in a reasonable amount of time to do that, and we think we can find the money to make it happen too.
And just to kind of that public-private partnership, Optimus Club and the Splash Pad, the dog park group and a dog park, the bicycle folks and the bicycle population within the community, it really, those are good examples, and we'll talk about it when Wade, we're talking about our 5-year park and open space plan update, and how can we make park spaces gathering spots and those kinds of things, and in partnership with other groups that want to do the same thing, those, and it may, the timing might just be pretty close, pretty right. So we certainly appreciate you coming in and
Yeah.
talking to us about it. And like I say, we're kind of dovetailing into, future uses of parks and park space and public space, and how can we, and we're financial with, budgets and those kinds of things. So the idea of partnerships and trying to make these things work is really, our best avenue to make them happen. So I think that's good information.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for
Love the
coming in,
idea.
guys. Appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Now we're going to flip to the other one, which is truly pretty darn good.
There's no action to be taken on that.
Nope, it's just a, not really, no, I just put action in there in case we wanted to, but I think if anything else, it's more information and kind of keep it in mind as we continue on our, the planning of our park space within the community, so.
Mhm. And what steps could we make to help you guys out? Should we just
Well, I think
talk
you
about
just, just kind of sit tight and
Okay.
we'll just continue on and see what comes of it.
it? Okay. Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks, Ian.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, next up, 2015 Comprehensive Park Open Space and Recreation Plan.